What curious trips! After years and years of watching hundreds of documentaries, television shows, and millions of images and videos on the internet, there are still things that always surprise us. Maybe it's because there are more than 7 billion of us, and with immediate access to the internet, we can literally come across anything at any time. Even if you think you've seen everything, there are always new things. And that's why Mr. Curiosity is here. For this and more, here are 20 things you'll see for the first time. For most of us, both seals and their close friends might seem like very pleasant animals. And this time, 2 men dedicated to protecting marine life in Namibia are trying to help these animals, who often suffer great discomfort due to pollution. As we can see in this case, they free a fur seal from a fishing net, and surprisingly, it turns around as if it were thanking them for saving it. Since, according to the rescuers, it's very unusual that it stayed calm instead of going with the other fur seals once it was freed. Unfortunately, package or delivery thefts are quite common, at least in the United States, since people's products are usually left in front of their doors, and that's when some people take advantage. So, tired of this, YouTuber and National Aeronautics and Space Administration engineer Matt Rover decided to prank people who take things that aren't theirs. The mechanism is not simple at all, really, but it achieves its goal of filling the room it's in with glitter. As soon as the box is opened, it also sprays a liquid with an unpleasant smell every few seconds. Interestingly, at the end of the video, we see the annoyed expressions of the thieves. Stay away from the boxes, Timmy. Apparently, this man has always been interested in magnets and magnetism, and in this video, besides showing us different experiments with the same materials, with the help of a bit of magnetic slime and lots of magnets, he manages to simulate the head and face of the character, recreating the face of Venom. It's definitely addictive to watch them assemble the head's parts with various magnets, resulting in a surprising piece. All of us have at some point found some completely rotten food in our fridge or outside of it. And I'm sure you can already imagine what would happen if we left an apple uneaten for many days. In other words, it would rot after a week or 2 at most. But do you know what would happen if it was in water? This man created a time lapse showing the decomposition process of an apple submerged in a container of water for 200 days. And yes, it's really disgusting, but at the same time, it's quite interesting to see the whole process of. What's more, it's worth mentioning that one of the most watched series this year, at least on the Netflix platform, was Squid Game. Since according to some estimates, it had approximately 140 million views. In addition to its widespread popularity among people in this case, this artist created a flipbook of the series. That is, one of those books where you quickly flip through the pages to see movement. What's interesting is that it's so well made that you can't stop watching it. And it's not something unique to this artist, since his channel features several books in this style. Without a doubt, realistic cakes and desserts are becoming more and more amazing, resulting in some like the ones we've already seen on the channel. But as incredible as it may seem, these Filipino pastry chefs created a cake that's just too realistic. It looks exactly like a kitchen sponge, complete with some foam, making it indistinguishable from a real one. And I'm sure you're just as surprised as most people when you see the incredible result that can be achieved. And it's not just with the sponge, they also show us the process of making other objects, like a bar of soap foam made with white fondant. Can you imagine swimming or getting in the water without getting your hair wet? Well, the question is a bit strange, and yes, you're probably thinking it's impossible, but it turns out it's not, because that was the idea of this man, who decided to cover his body with aerogel. This curious substance is hydrophobic, and he says it feels strange on the body after leaving the water. This allows him to dive in and come out of the water completely dry, thanks to its properties. That's really weird, man, unless you're addicted to the city. We all like to get away in nature from time to time. And what if you like camping and spending time doing outdoor activities? This guy shows us how to make a shelter in the middle of a forest using only recyclable materials. Or, well, specifically with plastic wrap that he wraps around some trees so he can sleep inside it. As we can see, it turns out to be quite sturdy since, besides being able to lie down, he manages to spend the night inside without any problem. If you like watching satisfying videos, then you're gonna love this one. Every time summer comes and we have to get the pools ready, we have to do a lot of work to get them in shape. But the Pool Guy is the channel of a man who specializes in deep cleaning pools. just like we can see in this video. And of course, it can't be pleasant, especially with various chemicals involved. Here, he comes across a completely neglected pool that belonged to a grandmother who hadn't cleaned it in over 15 years. And even though it might not be the best job, we can't deny that the final result looks pretty satisfying. Nowadays, cell phones, even though they vary in size, usually don't have too much difference from one another. But if you've ever wondered what an extremely small cell phone would look like, well, this is the answer. In this case, this man was doing an unboxing of a Redmi Note 9G, completely made by himself out of cardboard and paper. Curiously, even with its accessories, it measures only a few centimeters in total. And while it's obvious that the device itself is fake, without a doubt, if we imagine a cell phone of this size, it would be incredible. When we talk about cold countries or countries where the temperature is very low, Russia is undoubtedly among the top countries on this list, as its temperatures often drop far below zero. But have you ever wondered how cold these numbers actually mean? In Yakutia, a man wondered what would happen if he opened a window at minus 60 degrees. As soon as he did, this happened. The temperature was so cold that as soon as the window was opened, even his own breath froze. Why so cold? Russia. Why? You've probably felt overwhelmed by work at some point, and you're not alone. This is very common, and this employee is no exception, because we see how she decided to leave her post for a few seconds when she heard a song she just couldn't resist dancing to. Without a doubt, you can't help but notice the professionalism with which she does it. And even though it seemed like she was completely alone there, the funny thing is that in the end, she realizes that a customer had seen her for most of her dance routine. If you like extreme sports, you've probably heard about parkour at some point. And if you've seen any videos about it, you probably couldn't stop watching because of how extreme and addictive it is. And for this guy, there are only two ways to do things: the way normal people do them, and the way people who practice parkour do them. This flexible character does everything with a unique style, with truly admirable talent and ease. Mark Zuckerberg, the creator of Facebook, is widely recognized for his undeniable intelligence in computing. Since childhood, Facebook's creator showed interest in this field. Interestingly, Mark also studied at a prestigious university when he was young. I'm sure you've never seen his reaction when he got into Harvard University.
This is an email from Harvard, right? Yes, that I've been accepted. Are you serious?
Didn't I, Mark? Have you ever seen a bird build its own nest? Usually it takes the weaver bird about 1 or 2 weeks to build its nest, gathering materials from different places. And maybe this doesn't seem like much to you. However, these people decided to record their female bird in a box for 46 days straight to see how long it would take her to build her own nest inside. And without a doubt, she was very meticulous, so it took her quite a while. For thousands of years, humans have created art in thousands of different ways. And if we think about painting, can we see anything as satisfying as this? Jay Lee is a very talented man who creates works of art with different paints. And if you're someone who finds these kinds of videos relaxing, in this case, and with an extremely calm melody, he shows us how he makes a painting with acrylics, making it look really easy as he combines the different colors. And as a result, an interesting work of two people under the rain, which could really be in the best galleries in the world. Although Legos were meant for thinking and having fun when we were younger, there are some people who still have this fascination. And this is the case of Brick Experiment Channel, a YouTube channel dedicated to doing experiments with none other than Legos. And although it might seem a bit strange, these experiments achieve their goal, resulting in things like the ones we're seeing in this case. He uses a Lego piece to create a whirlpool in water, making bigger whirlpools each time by adding more power and pieces. Something that, without a doubt, is quite strange, but also pretty fun and definitely interesting. It's undeniable that some things are much more difficult than we initially thought. And if you're one of those people who loves to see how different objects or even foods are made, then you're gonna like this video, because here they show us how wooden pencils are made. You might not expect the process to be so lengthy, but from mixing graphite and clay to coloring the leads, it's fascinating to watch. For many people, taking a shower after a day of work is something very relaxing and satisfying. And here he doesn't seem any less relaxed. This hedgehog. Is it very common for us to bother our pets from time to time? And in case you ever wondered what a hedgehog would look like or do on water, in this video we can see how this guy put his pet to float on the water, and we can see it relaxed. It looks like it's floating on the water and nothing seems to bother it. Without a doubt, food scenes in anime are quite tempting. I mean, who hasn't wanted to try the typical dishes shown in some episodes at least once, even if in general they are usually typical foods from Japanese culture? And in this case, this chef wanted to recreate a scene by cooking his own food, following the exact steps shown in the anime. And the result was incredible. Subscribe.